I always noticed how her smile would fade whenever she mentioned her ex. It was like a dark cloud hovering over her, blocking out the light. I could see the way she would pause, her eyes darting away, as if she was afraid to say his name. It made my heart ache for her. I couldn't understand why someone who should have made her happy instead left her feeling so small and scared. One day, I stumbled upon some truths about him that made my stomach twist. He played mind games, twisting her thoughts and making her question herself. I knew then that I had to do something. If I could tell the truth about him, maybe she could finally break free from his grip. When I first met Jason, everything felt magical. He was funny and sweet, and I thought I'd found my prince. But as time passed, I started to notice something wasn't right. At first, Jason's caring side was nice, but soon it changed into control. "Where are you going? Who are you with?" he'd ask, his words sharp. I felt like I was stuck in a pretty cage. It hurt to realize that what I thought was love was actually suffocating me. One day, I found a message on his phone. My heart raced as I read the words. Betrayal. I felt like I was in a scary movie. "How could you do this to me?" I shouted. Jason just shrugged, his eyes cold. "You're overreacting," he said. I felt my trust break into pieces like glass on the floor. I knew I couldn't stay. "I won't let you control me anymore," I yelled, my voice steady with anger. I wanted to be free, not stuck in a nightmare. Love should never feel like a fight. It should lift you up, not pull you down. With each step away from him, I felt stronger. I was ready to face the truth. "You can't keep lying to me," I stated, my heart pounding but my spirit soaring. Breaking free from the fake love I thought I'd made me see the truth about Jason. At first, he seemed like the right guy, but soon, I noticed his sneaky ways of controlling me. He used my feelings against me, making me question myself. Whenever I asked him something, he'd twist my words, making me feel crazy. It felt like I was a puppet, and Jason was pulling all the ropes. In the beginning, he treated me with love, but it quickly turned into a way to control me. He gave me just enough affection to hide his scary methods. Then, he crossed the line by invading my privacy. He wanted to see my phone and social media. And every time I said no, it felt like trust problems piled up. I felt stuck in a bad situation, afraid to speak up. I wanted his praise so much that I ignored my gut feelings. Seeing these warning signs was my first step to waking up. I learned love shouldn't feel like a cage. I needed to find my strength and stand up to Jason, the guy who twisted my reality. It was time to take back my life, free from his influence and fear. I grabbed Jason's phone, my hands shaking. My heart raced as I opened a message from another girl. Who was she? My stomach twisted. How could he do this to me? It felt like I was punched in the gut. I blinked back tears, but they spilled over. He'd lied to me. "Why?" I shouted, facing him. "How could you betray me like this?" He just laughed, brushing off my pain. "It's no big deal," he said, like it was all a joke. That's when I knew I needed to take charge. I called my best friend, Lisa. "You won't believe what I found," I said, my voice shaky. She listened closely, her eyes wide. "We have to get you out of this mess," she said, determined. We started planning. I found more secrets about Jason, messages, photos, lies. Each one made me stronger. I wasn't just sad, I was ready to fight back. With my heart racing, I knew it was time to face Jason again. I'd been planning for weeks, and now I was ready. I thought about all the people he hurt, and I had to be strong for them too. I'd worked hard on myself, learning to love who I am and stand on my own. As I took a deep breath, I remembered how important it was to set limits. I knew rebuilding trust would take a while, but this was my first step. I had to face my fears, and Jason was the biggest one. Just thinking about him made my stomach twist, but I couldn't back down. When I walked into the cafe, memories of our past flooded my mind. I focused on feeling strong with every step. I wasn't the weak girl he used to control. I was strong now, armed with the truth. I breathed deeply, feeling the weight of my choice. This meeting wasn't just about Jason. It was about taking back my life and showing him I wasn't scared anymore. I was ready for anything he threw my way. "Hey, Jason," I said, my voice steady. He smirked, but I wasn't afraid. "I didn't think you'd show up." "I'm here to end this," I answered, glaring at him. His smile faded, and I could see the surprise in his eyes. You think you can just walk away? I stepped closer. I'm not walking away. I'm standing my ground. The tension in the air was thick. I could feel my heart beating, but it fueled my fire. This was my moment, and I wouldn't let him steal it. Though my stomach felt like a roller coaster, I knew this was the moment everything would change. Confronting Jason was like going into a wild storm. I'd spent weeks dealing with my feelings of betrayal, but now I was ready to take back my power. I pushed open the cafe door, my heart racing. This wasn't just about him, it was about breaking the spell he'd over my life. As I sat down, I felt the weight of my choice. Jason looked at me, his face a mix of confusion and cockiness. He thought he'd won. He thought I'd always be the sufferer. But not anymore. I had proof of his lies, and I was ready to show him. You think you can just walk away from what you did? I said, my voice steady but angry. Every word I spoke felt like a step toward freedom. I wanted him to squirm, to feel the pain he caused. Memories of trust and promises filled my mind. But instead of hurting, I felt strong. I could break free from his grip. This ends today, Jason, I stated, my eyes locking onto his. You can't keep playing with my life like it's a game. His smirk faded, replaced by surprise. I could see the wheels turning in his head as he realized he was losing control. I didn't think you did in you, he sneered, trying to regain his confidence. Well, you thought wrong, I shot back. My heart raced as I pulled out the evidence, the messages, the lies. I know everything. His face paled as he looked at the papers. You're making a mistake, he said, his voice shaking slightly. No, Jason, you made the mistake. You underestimated me. I could feel the shift in the air, the power slowly tilting in my favor. Finding support became super important after my fight with Jason. I felt lost and scared, like faith was a fragile glass that could shatter. My heart hurt, but I knew I needed help to heal. So, I turned to my best friends. Lisa was my rock. I've got your back, she said, her eyes fierce with loyalty. Together, we discussed ways to tackle my fears. It wasn't an easy trip. Each day, I learned just how strong I really was. I learned I couldn't let the hurt control me. I started looking for help outside my group too. I went to workshops and support groups, where I met others with similar problems. You're not alone, one person said, and it felt like a warm hug. As I got used to my new life, everything changed when I got a strange text. My phone lit up with an unknown number. I read it, and my heart raced. I know what Jason is hiding. Meet me at the old park. It felt like a story, but it was real. Who was this person? What did they want? I felt scared but also curious. Could this stranger help me find out what Jason was hiding? Or was this a trick to pull me back into his lies? My gut told me to be careful. Jason could do anything. But I needed to know the truth. I drove to the park, my heart racing. The trees looked dark and spooky, but I kept going. There was a woman with sharp green eyes waiting for me. When she spoke, I realized I wasn't the only one hurt by Jason. I know what he's done. We shared our stories, showing the ugly truth behind Jason's pretty words. The fear from the message turned into fire in my belly. I wouldn't let him win. Finding out the truth felt like the first step to getting my life back. Let's take him down, I said, feeling stronger. Shining in her eyes. The first time I saw Mia, I felt something spark between us. She had bright green eyes that showed both power and sadness. I quickly understood she wasn't just another person hurt by Jason. She had her own painful story of betrayal. As she talked, I hung on every word, amazed by her bravery. It was strange to finally meet someone who really understood my sadness and fear. Mia put it all out. Jason had hurt her too. She wanted payback, just like I did. It felt good to know I wasn't facing this battle alone. In that dark park, our relationship started to grow, fueled by our shared anger and the need to make things right. Together, we felt like we could take on Jason and reveal his secrets. As we swapped stories, I realized how well we linked. Mia's daring lit a fire in me. No longer did I feel like a victim. I was ready to fight back. We need to show Jason for who he really is, Mia said, purpose in her voice. Absolutely. He can't get away with this, I answered, feeling empowered. We planned our next moves, ready to bring Jason down. This wasn't just a relationship, it was a lifeline. No more loneliness. Together, we'd ensure Jason paid for his lies. Each moment with Mia fed my spirit, telling me that while betrayal hurt, it could also lead to powerful friendships that changed everything. "Let's do this," I said, a new fire sparking in my heart. Mia nodded, and we both knew we were in this together. I was scared. Jason was unpredictable, and I had no idea what he'd do next. But building an alliance with Mia felt like a lifeline. We both had trust issues because of him. Meeting her made me understand I wasn't alone in this fight. We both had scars, but together, we found strength. Our friendship grew fast, fueled by our shared goals of healing and payback. "Mia, I can't believe what he did to us," I said one night as we sipped our coffee. "I know," she responded, her voice steady. "But we can't let him win." Every late-night call and coffee chat brought us closer. We shared our stories, and each one felt like a little win against the darkness. Tears and complaints. "I feel like I'm finally lifting the weight," I told Mia one evening. "Me too," she cried. "We're taking back our lives." We began to plan. We gathered evidence, wrote down our next steps, and made a map of our approach. "Let's catch him off guard," Mia said with a fierce grin. "Yeah. He thinks he can control us, but he's wrong," I replied, my heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. As we worked together, our bond grew deeper. I understood that this was more than just fighting Jason. It was about fighting for me. I wanted closure, not just payback. I was on a journey to heal, turning my pain into drive. With Mia by my side, I felt ready to face the chaos Jason had caused. Mia and I felt a rush of excitement as we dug into Jason's life, ready to discover his darkest secrets. Each clue we found made my heart race. We started with his online accounts, searching through emails and texts. With every click, I felt a mix of hope and fear. What if we found something terrible that could ruin him? Soon enough, we discovered shocking truths. Jason had been involved in shady deals, hurting those who trusted him. He'd stolen money from friends and family, tricking them with his smooth talk. I couldn't believe how far he'd go to keep power. This was the man I once loved, but now I saw him as he really was, a master deceiver. As Mia and I pieced together the parts of his life, anger bubbled inside me. I wanted to confront him, to make him understand the weight of his deeds. Every new finding fueled my determination. I wasn't going to be a victim anymore. We had to make sure he didn't get away with this. Exposing Jason wasn't just about payback. It was about taking my life back. Gathering proof made me feel strong. His lies wouldn't hold me anymore. No more living in fear. With Mia by my side, I was ready for whatever came next. We were about to turn the tables, and I couldn't wait. "Let's do this," I said, my voice steady. Mia nodded, her eyes shining with purpose. Together, we'd face Jason and make him pay for what he did. As I dug into Jason's life, I found he was a master of lies, trapping everyone around him in his deceit. He wore a charming mask, winning over friends and family while privately pulling their strings. It turned out his web of lies went far beyond just me. People I cared about were caught in his traps, totally unaware of the tricks he played. Every new piece of information felt like a punch in the gut. He didn't just fail me. He took advantage of everyone who believed in him. He made promises he had no intention of keeping and twisted feelings to get what he wanted. I felt sick when I learned how he stole money from his brother, all while acting like the perfect sibling. It was shocking. Mia and I shared a desperate need to uncover Jason's dark secrets. Each clue we found painted a clearer picture of his betrayal. I learned I wasn't alone. Many others were hurt by him. Anger surged inside me, driving my desire to bring him down. I couldn't just sit back and let him control my feelings anymore. I had to face him. He needed to see that his power over me was weakening. As I got ready for our battle, my heart raced with both fear and strength. I was set to tear down his web of lies, and this time, I wouldn't let him win. "Jason," I called out, my voice steady. "We need to talk." He turned, a grin on his face, thinking he still had the upper hand. "What's the matter? You look upset." "Upset? You have no idea," I shot back, anger rising inside me. "You've hurt so many people, and it stops now." His smile faded. "What do you mean?" "I know about the lies, the manipulation, and how you betrayed everyone who cared about you. I stepped closer, my resolve hardening. You can't keep hiding behind your fake charm. What are you talking about? He scoffed, but I could see the fear in his eyes. I'm talking about the truth, Jason. The truth is going to come out. I could feel the weight of every deception behind my words. He shifted uncomfortably. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would, I answered, my voice firm. And I'm not alone. Mia and I are ready to reveal you. I was done being Jason's puppet. It was time to gather proof and take him down. I knew I had to act fast. I couldn't let him win. Every day, I wrote down everything he did. I noticed his sneaky phone calls, the weird messages he sent, and all the lies he told his friends. It felt like putting together a puzzle, and each clue brought me closer to revealing his true colors. Mia was my partner in this. Together, we were unbeatable. We hacked into his email and found messages that showed his plans to scam people. My heart raced with each new finding. Anger fueled my resolve, and I carefully recorded everything, knowing it could help bring him down. We even talked to people he'd hurt before, gathering their stories and proof of his lies. But in the back of my mind, fear crept in. What if Jason found out? What if he tried to hurt us? I shook off the worry. I was tired of being scared. It was time for him to face the music. Each late night spent digging up dirt brought me closer to my goal. I felt stronger with every piece of evidence we discovered. This was my moment to change the script on Jason and show him I wasn't weak anymore. Let's go over what we've got so far, Mia said, her eyes shining with joy. We've got his emails and a list of his victims, I answered, confidence building in my chest. We need to hit him hard. As we worked, the stress grew. I could almost taste the win. Jason wouldn't see it coming. This was my chance to take back control and reveal the monster he was. Every piece of proof we found lit a fire in me. I wasn't a victim anymore, I was getting back my power. Each lie about Jason felt like I was tearing down the walls he built around me. I'd been scared for too long, but now, with every lie I uncovered, I felt stronger. This journey was changing me. I could finally breathe easy, knowing I was in charge of my life. I felt like a fighter, rising up ready to face the darkness that had haunted me. The fear that used to grip me was gone, replaced by fierce purpose. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for everyone he'd hurt. With Mia by my side, I felt like I could take on the world. Our shared stories linked us, and with every shocking truth, we became tougher. I learned to believe in myself again. I stopped doubting my gut. I finally knew I deserved better than the lies and abuse Jason put me through. As we gathered more proof, my heart raced with excitement. I was ready to reveal him, to show the world who he really was. I wasn't the scared girl hiding anymore. I was stepping into the light, ready to take back my life and my power. This was just the start of my fight for true freedom. Mia, we're almost there, I said, my voice steady. I know, she answered, her eyes shining with determination. We're going to make him pay. As we collected our evidence, a bold plan started to spark in my mind. We couldn't just reveal Jason. We had to make sure he'd never hurt us again. I felt a rush of drive. Every secret we found brought us closer to our goal. Mia, what if we show everyone what he's really like? I suggested, my heart racing. Mia nodded, her eyes lighting up. Yes, we can gather all the proof emails, texts, everything. Jason was slick and dangerous, but we were smarter. He needs to feel the weight of what he's done, I said. Fire in my voice. We decided to collect everything we had and show it to his family and friends, the people he'd tricked for too long. This was about payback, yes, but also about healing. We had to take back our lives. Every step we took felt like breaking free. I was no longer the scared girl trapped in a toxic love story. I could see our plan clearly. Let's do it this weekend when he's vulnerable, I said, excitement bubbling up. The thought of Jason facing the truth sent shivers down my spine. We shared our fears and hopes, making our bond stronger. He needs to understand what he's done, Mia said, determination in her voice. We won't let him win. As we dove deeper into our plan, a cold fear gripped my stomach. What if Jason spilled the beans before we could act? My heart raced at the thought. I had to think fast about every move we made. Each piece of proof we collected felt like a ticking bomb, ready to blow up if he found out. Trust issues loomed big between Mia and me. Could I really count on her to keep our secrets safe? Late-night talks filled my head with fears. What if Jason had bugs watching us? What if he already knew our plan? I pictured him lounging back, a sly grin plastered on his face, ready to strike. The sting of deception I felt made it hard for me to trust anyone, even my best friend. I started to doubt everything. Was Mia really on my side? Or was she playing both sides? The stakes were sky high, and I could barely breathe under the weight of the risk. I had to tell myself that I wasn't the weak girl Jason had bullied. I was strong and clever. But that didn't help the gnawing worry. Every text I sent to Mia felt like a roll of the dice. Each meeting was a chance for Jason to catch us in the act. I could almost hear his mocking laughter in my head. I shook it off. I wouldn't let fear take charge. I had to stay sharp, stay alert. This was our moment, and I wouldn't let it slip through my fingers. Mia, we have to be careful, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. If Jason finds out, we're done for. I know, she answered, her eyes darting around as if Jason could appear at any moment. But we can't back down now. I nodded, feeling the weight of our choices. No more mistakes. We can't trust anyone else. As the night dragged on, the tension increased. I felt like we were walking on a tightrope, one small slip away from danger. But there was no going back. We were in this together, whether we liked it or not. As the day of the encounter drew near, I felt a whirlwind of nerves and fire inside me. I had to face Jason and uncover his lies, but his anger scared me. I took a deep breath and got ready. I wrote down all his betrayals, each one sharper than the last. The pain he caused was real, and I was done hiding from it. In front of the mirror, I practiced my words. You think you can stop me? Think again. I repeated it, my voice getting stronger each time. I wasn't that scared girl anymore. I had a plan, and I had my friends Mia and others behind me, believing in me. Their love lit a spark in my heart. That morning, my stomach twisted like a pretzel. But I reminded myself, you're not alone, you're in control now. I got dressed, looked in the mirror, and said, you can do this. I took a deep breath, ready to finally face the darkness Jason had brought into my life. When I arrived at our meeting spot, my heart raced. Jason was leaning against the wall, a smirk on his face. What do you want? He sneered. I stepped forward, my voice steady. I want the truth. No more lies. He laughed, but I saw the flicker of unease in his eyes. You think you can scare me? He shot back, but I wasn't backing down. I know who you are. You've hurt me, and I won't let you do it again. Suddenly, I felt a rush of bravery. You're not the boss of me. I shouted, shocking even myself. The surprise on his face was hilarious. You'll regret this, he warned, but I saw the crack in his mask. I was ready to fight for my truth, and I wouldn't let his greed and trickery win. In that moment, I understood this wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my life. I stood firm, ready to face whatever came next. The confrontation had started, and I was finally taking control. The cafe was loud with talk and the sound of cups clinking. But I was in my own bubble, heart racing as I waited for Jason. This was at the moment I'd been getting ready for. I had a plan to face him. I spent weeks collecting proof about his betrayal, and now, I was ready to share the truth that broke my trust. When he walked in, I noticed his swagger, the same confident look that used to make me smile. But now, it just made me mad. I signaled for him to sit down. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady while my heart felt like it was pounding out of my chest. He raised an eyebrow, clueless about the storm that was coming his way. I put everything out: the messages, the lies, the money he took. I could see his face change from surprise to anger. He tried to twist my words, but I had the proof. In that moment, I felt strong, taking back the story he tried to steal from me. But then he grinned, and that chill ran down my spine. You think you can hurt me? He mocked. I know your secrets too. My heart skipped a beat. I couldn't let fear take over now. I had come too far to back down. In that cafe, with people around us, I realized I was no longer the victim. I was ready to fight for my truth. I felt a rush of fear, but I quickly shoved it down. I had found out Jason's lies, and it was time to tell the truth that would break his mask. A fire sparked inside me as I got ready to face him. No more hiding in the dark. It was time to speak up and be real. Mia and I got everything we could. We dug up secrets that would show Jason's true colors. Each fact I shared with his family and friends made him lose the power he had over me. I wanted to find peace. Not just for myself, but for everyone he'd hurt. My heart raced as I realized I was taking back my power. Mia and I became a team. We shared our stories, and that made me feel stronger. We pushed each other to keep going, knowing we had to fight back. This wasn't just about getting even, it was about healing. Standing before Jason's loved ones, I felt a mix of humiliation, anger, and a spark of hope. In that moment, I knew that speaking the truth was more than just standing up for myself. It showed I was strong. Jason couldn't control my life anymore. I was ready for whatever happened next. Knowing truth was my tool. Jason wasn't going to let my big reveal slide. As soon as I spilled his secrets, I felt the air change. He was mad, and I knew he'd pull out all the stops to take back control. Jason was a pro at manipulation, and I braced myself for his next move. First, he tried to make me look bad. He spread stories, telling our friends I was crazy and just looking for attention. He turned everything around, making me the bad guy in our story. It was sickening to see how easily people believed him. His charm still worked, even after the truth came out. I felt betrayal like a heavy weight in my chest. I had laid open his lies, yet he was twisting it all back to make me doubt myself. Every text he sent felt like a stab to my heart. But I wasn't going to let Jason win. I gathered proof of his lies and reached out to everyone he'd tricked. I showed them the real Jason, the one who'd broken their trust. Slowly, they began to see through his tricks. With each person I convinced, I felt stronger. Jason's games were backfiring. I was taking back my story, and I wouldn't stop until he faced what he'd done. This was just the start of my fight. I was ready to take him down. As I faced Jason, I could feel something change inside me. I wasn't the scared girl he used to control. I had proof, people on my side, and most importantly, I had found my strength. The power had changed, and it was mine now. Memories of Jason's lies flooded back. He made me doubt myself, bent my thoughts like a pretzel. But now, I had the truth, and it felt amazing. The deception that had once crushed me was now my fuel. I was no longer just reacting. I was ready to act to reveal him. When I finally addressed him, I could see panic in his eyes. He knew I had found out his lies. I had the upper hand. I spoke up, my voice steady. With every word, I took back my worth. I wasn't just talking. I was tearing down the walls of his lies. "You think you can keep lying to me?" I said, my heart racing. He stammered, "It's not like that." I shot back. "No more tricks, Jason. I know everything." Each claim felt like a punch to his facade. He squirmed, but I stood tall, holding on to the truth. I was no longer his puppet. I was in charge now. "Please, just listen," he begged, his voice shaking. "No, you had your chance," I stated. I realized then that being strong wasn't just about getting through, it was about fighting back. I was ready for this battle, and I wouldn't back down. The game was over, and I was the one calling the shots. I had the power now, but I knew I couldn't fight this battle alone. I needed help to take down Jason and show everyone his lies. I called Mia. She understood my pain and had her own story to tell. Together, we formed a strong alliance based on trust and our shared goal. With each secret we uncovered about Jason, our friendship got stronger. It felt great to have Mia by my side. I learned that our strength came from working together. To bring Jason down, we started calling out to others who'd also been hurt by him. They shared their stories, and it helped us rebuild our trust in people. We weren't alone. As we gathered proof against Jason, I felt a rush of determination. Our teamwork was turning into something powerful. I knew we could face whatever Jason threw at us. Our plan was risky, but we were ready to face him. I felt alive again, like a fighter, not a victim, ready to fight for what was right. This wasn't just about payback. It was about taking back our lives. With each new friend, hope grew inside me. I was on a journey of strength, and nothing could stop us now. Jason would soon learn that his days of manipulation were over. "Mia, we can't hold back," I said, my voice steady. "He needs to see we're not scared anymore." "Agreed." Mia answered, her eyes fierce. "Let's show him what we've got." With our friends by our side, we were ready to take back our power. It was time to show Jason that the game was over. Fear tickled the back of my mind, but it couldn't stop the fire inside me. Mia and I had a plan. We called it our ultimate plan to confront Jason. We were ready to reveal the truth and fight back. The evidence we collected was solid enough to expose Jason's lies to everyone who counted. Mia and I huddled in my room, surrounded by stacks of papers. Each paper was a piece of Jason's betrayal. I felt stronger than ever. I wasn't just a victim. I was getting back my power. We spent hours going over every detail, making sure we didn't miss anything. "This isn't just about revenge," Mia said, her eyes fierce. "It's about everyone he hurt." I nodded, thinking of Jason's brother, his friends, people who trusted him. They deserved to know the truth. The day of the showdown was creeping up on us, and I could feel the weight of our task. But I was ready. Jason wouldn't scare me anymore. Anger boiled inside me, pushing me forward. I had to be strong for myself and for Mia. This was it. No more lying, no more silence. Jason was going to face the music. Her voice steady. "More than ever," I replied, resolve flooding my chest. We were about to turn the tables. Jason was going to learn that betrayal comes with a price. How could someone so attractive hide such darkness? Jason had a smile that could fool anyone, and I was one of his many victims. But behind that grin was a twisted mess of lies and tricks. I decided it was time to find out the truth. With Mia at my side, we became spies. We looked through his emails and messages, and what we found shocked us. Jason had taken money from friends and family, cheating the people who trusted him the most. I felt a burning anger rise in me. How could he hurt so many? I was determined to show everyone who he really was. We worked late into the night, putting together his story of deceit. I felt a rush of power. No more being his puppet. I wanted to show the real Jason, the one hiding behind his fake smile. Finally, the day came. I stood in front of his family and friends, ready to spill the truth. My heart pounded as I spoke, but I felt strong. I watched their faces change from confusion to shock. This was it. I was taking back my life. Exposing his lies was just the beginning of my healing. And I was ready to move on. Jason had messed with the wrong person, and now it was time for him to face the music. As I stood there, I watched shock spread across Jason's family and friends like a dark cloud. Exposing his lies was just the start of a bigger fight. Confusion danced in their eyes, and hatred twisted their faces. I had broken the pretty picture he had made for so long, and now I felt heavy with what I had done. This wasn't just about getting back at him. It was about putting a light on the darkness that hurt so many. I thought I'd feel free, but instead, doubt crept in. Would they believe me? Would they turn against me? I took a deep breath and started to share everything: his lies, his tricks. My heart raced as fear and power mixed inside me. This was my moment to stand up, but it came with a price. Guilt gnawed at me, knowing I had changed lives, not just my own. I felt haunted by what I had lost, but something else was stirring inside, a spark of power. In that moment, I realized I was tougher than I thought. I wasn't the scared girl hiding anymore. I was a fighter, ready to face the storm that followed my choices. Each truth I found brought new challenges, but it also opened doors for healing. I had to deal with my feelings, letting the pain and anger wash over me. It wasn't easy, but through it all, I started to rethink who I was. I wasn't just a victim, I was a fighter, and that thought pushed me forward. Suddenly, I spotted Jason in the crowd, a smirk playing on his lips. "You think you've won?" He sneered, confidence oozing from him. I squared my shoulders. "This isn't a game anymore, Jason. You can't hide behind your lies." His eyes darkened, and I felt the tension crackle like lightning. "Watch me." The room was thick with expectation. I turned back to the crowd, the weight of their gazes on me. "I'm not afraid of you," I said, my voice steady. "You've hurt too many people, and it ends now." Gasps filled the air, and I could see the shift in their faces. I was no longer alone in this fight. The truth was out, and I was ready to face whatever came next. Reclaiming my life felt like moving into bright sunlight after being stuck in a dark room for years. I was done letting Jason's lies define me. I wanted to find my true self and my voice. Every day was a fight, but I was ready to rise up. I started hanging out with people who actually cared, like Lisa. She told me that I had strength inside me. With each little win, like sharing my story or facing my fears, I felt like I was breaking free. It was thrilling. I found things I loved that Jason had tried to take away. I painted bright pictures, danced, and laughed, things that made me happy. Every step I took to reclaim my life made me feel strong. I understood I wasn't just a victim, I was a fighter. I found strength in being honest and faith in being me. I broke away from Jason's lies and welcomed a new phase, where I was the one in charge. The darkness that used to wrap around me slowly faded. I learned that finding my freedom wasn't just about running away from Jason. It was about accepting who I really was. I came out of that nightmare not just whole but even stronger. I was ready to face the world, and nothing would stop me. I had been through a lot, but after everything with Jason, I was determined to build a life that truly represented me. It wasn't easy to shake off the hurt from his deception. I had to work hard to find my confidence again. I knew I needed to put myself first. I surrounded myself with friends who really cared. Lisa and Mia stood by me, helping me through the pain. "You need to find what makes you happy," Lisa said one day. So, I took her advice and jumped into things I loved. I started drawing and writing. With each brush stroke and every word, I felt a little more like myself again. As I moved on, I learned something important. I had to set limits. No one, especially not a cunning ex, would decide my worth. I found strengths I didn't know I had, and that felt awesome. I faced my fears, and with each task, I felt a surge of power. Now, I wake up ready to take on the world. The scars from my past tell me of my journey, not my weakness. I turned my pain into meaning. I'm ready for whatever comes next. My story isn't just about betrayal, it's about rising stronger. I'm building a future that shows who I really am, and no one can take that away from me.